Hey everyone, David here from multitool.org. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new knife launched by the wizards over at Vosteed. To do a little bit of background, I'm going to show you some guys where things kind of originated. Originally, the people at Vosteed introduced the Corgi. The Corgi here is, first and foremost, it is a design that is an elongated oval, kind of symmetrical on both sides, including the front and rear flipper, which kind of symmetrical on both sides of the, I want to call it a horn, with what Vosteed calls a trek lock, sort of a modified button lock, where the cone for the lock is inverted. I believe that's what the difference is, which makes that unique. They seem to think it makes the lock a little bit stronger. I haven't seen in any testing where that's any different. But the Corgi was extremely popular. This particular one, aside from 14C28N blade, is copper accent and micarta. They had released then a Corgi Pup, which is a smaller version. The smaller version is the exact same thing as the full, just smaller diameters. For some illustration on size differences, a full-size Corgi is 2.99 inches for the blade, with a overall of 7.17. The Pup was 2.37 with an overall of 5.93. And what they are now introducing that is coming out today is the Corgi V. And the V, what donates the difference, is Vanchor lock. Now, what Vanchor lock is, and we'll get these guys out of the way after you guys see the size difference. Size difference wise, it has a lot of comparisons to the Corgi Pup. Almost about the same size, very minuscule differences. 237 versus 236 inch. Handle 593 versus 585. Very, very similar, but there's just a little bit of differences, because if we put them side by side, you'll see just a hair's width of difference. This one was a G10, not a Valentine's special, but kind of sort of reminds me of something that you see for a Valentine's special. Kind of cool. What makes the anchor, the Corgi V, there's a lot of a lot of names to try and remember there. So the Vanchor lock is this button pivot that you see here, that instead of having a liner lock that's here, or frame lock, or button lock in the traditional sense, like on the Corgi Pup, what the folks over at Vosteed did is they found a way to put a locking mechanism in the pivot of the knife. They did that originally with the Ankylo. The Ankylo was a groundbreaking design, because what they did to make it unique is a regular button lock has a lock that interfaces on the back of the knife, and you can't really see it on these, because a regular button lock, I'm going to try and see if I can find one real quick. Hang on, I'll pause this. Okay, as an example, this is a, try to remember the name of it. It's CVB, it's not Praxis, I can't remember what the name of it is offhand, but anyways, for example, you'll see how the lock interfaces in front of the blade tank to prevent it from opening, or in the closed position, which is hard to see because of the flipper tab, but that lock is what causes the blade to not close or for it to stay in the closed position. It works differently with a Vanchor lock. With the Vanchor lock, there is a tang that is screwed on the inside of the handle, and there is a notch cut into the blade, which you'll see here. And so what happens is, whenever the lock comes together, I'm going to try and show this, but it's so difficult, is it will click Maybe we can see. This is so difficult to see on these knives. But anyways, it'll lock, and it's so hard to see. Wish I could show you guys. But anyways, there's a leaf spring that's in the center of the handle, and when the button's depressed, it pushes the liner out of the way, and it resides in the center in the side of the handle. So whenever the blade comes around, it snaps into place like a regular liner lock would. But pushing it, pushes that liner out of the way. On the back side of this pivot mechanism is a magnet which helps push and retract that liner out of the way. So the people at Vosteed had found a way to shrink the mechanism down a little bit and make it so it was adaptable on other knives. They had released, about a month or so ago, they had released a version of their Shinlin cutter, the Nightshade series. They had put the lock on. Now they're shrinking down and put it on the Corgi. And what's cool about the Corgi is it is a design where there's no show side screws whatsoever. No screws on the front of this knife whatsoever, giving it a nice clean appearance with the exception of the button lock on the front. I mean, even on the rear, you don't see any except for the two screws that help hold that pivot together. Very clean, very minimalistic look. Really, really, really nice looking. Also, instead of having the two-sided kind of horn-looking things on the front, where it's either a rear flipper or front flipper, they have opted to go with this bit of traction on the rear that kind of blends into the shape of the handle. So very light switch like, very run your finger along the. I like that. I like it a lot. You can close it. You can also open up via the Vanchor lock and close it if you really want to. There's also a front flipper as well. But that is the Corgi V. Has everything you love about the Corgi, but a little more sleeker, more fashion-forward design. I liked that like with the Ankilo, they went with an aluminum design. I like that. I like the aluminum over the micarta, and I really like micarta, but I like what they've done here. I really do. So there you guys go. That is a look at a nice little knife that makes a good spot in your fifth pocket. The Vosteed Corgi V.